King Charles III is the British military's commander-in-chief, as well as many other militaries around the world, as he is head of state of many other countries as well. So let's take a look at King Charles's own military service. The King served in both the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force in the 1970s, and since leaving active service has maintained a close relationship with the armed forces. On the 8th of March 1971, the King, then Prince Charles, flew himself to RAF Cranwell in Lincolnshire to train as a jet pilot. He had been first given flying instructions by the Royal Air Force while studying at Cambridge University. Squadron leader Philip Penny spent 2.5 years training the future King, where Prince Charles flew a Chipmunk training aircraft that had a one-of-a-kind modification, a rotating beacon on top, nicknamed the Parrot, which was used to inform others that the King was on board the plane. After passing his private pilot's license flying test and qualifying for the award of the preliminary flying badge on the Chipmunk aircraft, he moved on to the Bassett CC-1, clocking up a further 90 hours of flying. In 1971, he then arrived at RAF Cranwell for the full jet training course as a No. 1 graduate entry with the rank of Flight Lieutenant. He began training immediately with 2 weeks of ground school training that covered technical subjects before undertaking lectures in airmanship, aerodynamics, meteorology, aviation medicine, and navigation. Finally, on the 19th of March 1971, the future King was able to start his jet flying. His instructor was Air Chief Marshal Sir Richard Johns, who said, quote, "Prince Charles has a natural ability and picked things up very quickly. He was an easy student to teach, and I was very impressed by not just his focus and concentration, but his impeccable determination to succeed," he told the RAF website. He was not going to fail, it was as simple as that, and Sir Richard also reflected on one of the training sorties with Prince Charles, saying, "One lesson we learnt, formation flying, which is a demanding activity, but one Prince Charles settled into comfortably quite quickly. However, there was just one aspect he couldn't quite get to grips with, which I thought was down to him not relaxing. I told him to relax, and in response, he burst into song." After passing out at RAF Cranwell, King Charles embarked on a career in the Royal Navy, following in the footsteps of his father, grandfather, and both great-grandfathers. He began as a 22-year-old acting sub-lieutenant when he joined an accelerated graduates course at Britannia Royal Naval College in Dartmouth in Devon on the 15th of September 1971. 2 months later, he was posted to the guided missile destroyer HMS Norfolk, and then to the frigates HMS Minerva and HMS Jupiter. During 1972, the Prince worked hard during his training and experienced life at sea during the Cold War. Some of his experiences included learning the submarine emergency escape drill at HMS Dolphin, sailing with the hunter-killer HMS Churchill, studying navigation at HMS Mercury, and putting his knowledge to the test aboard minehunter HMS Glasserton. Putting his flying skills to good use, Prince Charles also found time to practice with the jungly Wessex helicopter while in the Navy. His career took a step up when he became a gunnery officer on HMS Minerva on West Indies patrol, and he also represented the Queen in the Bahamas when the islands declared their independence in July 1973. After 11 months on board Minerva, he was transferred for a brief time to her sister ship HMS Jupiter in the Pacific, before returning to England to learn naval aviation. He spent 105 hours in the cockpit of a Wessex Mark V as part of 707 Naval Air Squadron over 45 days, earning the Double Diamond Trophy as Best Pilot. He then went on to serve with 845 Naval Air Squadron and HMS Hermes on exercises in Canada. In 1974, the future King qualified as a helicopter pilot, and he flew with 845 Naval Air Squadron from the Commando aircraft carrier HMS Hermes, before undertaking the challenge of the Endurance and Tarzan courses with the Royal Marines. After this, he returned to his royal duties for the majority of 1975, and his military career was paused, before resuming in February 1976, where he took his final post with the Navy, becoming the commanding officer of a ton-class minesweeper HMS Bronington. Over the next 10 months in 1976, he commanded the small vessel during exercises and on operations where he dealt with Second World War ordnance and even had to closely monitor a Soviet submarine. During this time, he also performed his royal duties as well and welcomed his family on board the ship during an autumn visit to London. In December 1976, the future king's active naval career came to an end with the rank of commander. His military career with the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy overall took place between 1971 and 1976. HMS Bronington, his final post, remained close to the king's heart, and in 1980 he attended a ceremony when the ship was recommissioned. Despite leaving the military, the king has continued to work closely with the armed forces, and in 2012 Queen Elizabeth II awarded him the highest rank in all three services: Field Marshal of the British Army, Admiral of the Fleet of the Royal Navy, and Marshal of the Royal Air Force. He has been Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces since the death of his mother Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022. A month later, the king became the Captain General of the Royal Marines, the ceremonial head of the corps, replacing the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, who held the title from 2017 until February 2021, when he and his wife Meghan stepped down as senior royals. Overall, the king's military career spanned over half a decade between the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force, and they remain closely connected to him in all that he does as the new sovereign. So I want to hear your thoughts about this. Get your comments in down below. What do you think about King Charles's military service, about his role as Commander-in-Chief? Did you know about his positions in the Royal Navy as well as, of course, in the Royal Air Force? And what do you think about royal military service overall? Do you think it should be a given that the royals should go into the military? I know Prince William, of course, was in the RAF Search and Rescue Force. I made a video about Prince William's military service, which is now up on my channel. Prince Harry, of course, went into Afghanistan. William wasn't allowed, even though he wanted to, because of course he is the heir. And Prince George might be expected to join the Royal Air Force as well, especially given his apparent interest in helicopters. That might be a role for him as well. So get those comments in, let me know your thoughts on all of that down below, and as always, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and let me know anything that I could improve as well. I will take that into account for future videos. I also now have a Patreon. You can join that for free, or you can join as a paid member, and there are royal polls on there you can vote on and kind of connect with the community on there. I also have a membership to my channel, and there's some exclusive perks to that as well. But just you watching this video right to the very end is enough for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, I will see you in the next video.